Close your eyes and imagine a world where the church's power transcended the realm of salvation, encompassing the dominion over wealth and commerce. You might assume that kings and nobles wielded this authority, but during the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church was an economic force as potent as any monarch. I'm not simply referring to coffers overflowing with donations and offerings. I'm speaking of coins emblazoned with saints and crosses, minted within abbeys and cathedrals, circulating through ecclesiastical territories as if they were an extension of divine power. These coins, often referred to as ecclesiastical coins, were more than mere instruments of exchange. They were a symbol of authority and influence, a constant reminder that the church did not merely guide the souls of the faithful, but also held sway over the purses of merchants and laborers alike. And here lies the most captivating detail. When secular governments faltered, the church maintained the flow of wealth. As kings warred amongst themselves and empires crumbled, abbeys and cathedrals continued to operate, paying salaries, purchasing grain, and even assisting the impoverished. But how precisely did the church attain this level of economic power, and why were its coins so significant? To comprehend this, we must journey back in time to an era when faith and fortune were intertwined in a manner that seems almost inconceivable today. Envision a world where the boundaries between the sacred and the profane were so blurred that a single coin could be both an affront to God and a token of His blessing. The crux of the matter is that the church did not merely influence the economy, it shaped it. Ecclesiastical coins were not simply replicas of royal currency, they carried a specific purpose, a meaning that transcended their face value. They were a declaration of power, a means of ensuring that both the faithful and the unfaithful understood who truly controlled the wealth and, by extension, the fabric of daily life. It is this singular blend of spiritual and economic power that renders the subject so captivating. How did the church attain such a level of influence? What were the repercussions of this confluence of faith and fortune? And what does it illuminate about the potency of religious institutions throughout history? If you've ever pondered how religion can shape the world around us, this is a story that will astound you. After all, the Middle Ages were not merely a period of knights and castles. They were an era in which the church, with its hallowed coinage and dominion over wealth, exerted a profound and enduring influence on the world we inhabit today. So, if you're ready to delve into this captivating realm of faith and fortune, prepare yourself to uncover how the medieval church not only safeguarded souls, but also sculpted economies. For, in essence, the church's influence transcended the spiritual. It extended to the material realm. And this is a tale well worth telling. Having delved into the ecclesiastical coinage and its significance in the medieval era, it is now time to explore how this practice became deeply embedded in the social and economic structures of the time. Envision the vast landed estates of the church, veritable agricultural empires that spanned across Europe. These lands were not merely sources of sustenance, but also generated wealth through commerce and production. To manage this intricate economic network, the church required its own monetary system, one capable of circulating efficiently and under its control within its domains. Abbeys and cathedrals functioned as genuine economic hubs, with monks and clergymen acting as financial administrators. They not only minted coins, but also regulated prices, levied taxes, and distributed resources. This generated an economic system parallel to that of kings and feudal lords, one that responded directly to the interests of the church. And this control was not confined to ecclesiastical lands. It extended to all regions where the church's influence was strong, forging a network of commerce and exchange that transcended political boundaries. But how exactly did ecclesiastical coins circulate? Were they accepted everywhere? The answer is more complex than it seems. While these coins were primarily used within the church's lands, they were also accepted in nearby markets and fairs, where merchants and peasants needed a reliable medium of exchange. The acceptance of these coins was facilitated by the trust people had in the church, an institution which, despite its imperfections, was seen as stable and just. Moreover, the church frequently made agreements with local lords to ensure that their coins were recognized and respected. Now, consider how this applied to daily life. Imagine a peasant working the land of an abbey. His wages weren't paid in standard currency, but in ecclesiastical coinage. With these coins, he could purchase grain, textiles, and other necessities at local fairs. What's particularly intriguing is that by using these coins, he was, in a way, reinforcing the church's power over his economic life. He wasn't merely exchanging goods, he was participating in a system deeply intertwined with the power structure of the era. Moreover, ecclesiastical currencies were not merely instruments of exchange, they also held profound symbolic value. Adorned with images of saints and crosses, they served as constant reminders that wealth and prosperity originated from God and were entrusted to His church. This symbolic dimension was crucial, as it reinforced the notion that the church was not merely a religious institution, but also a powerful economic and political entity. But how did the church manage to keep this system running so efficiently? One reason was its ability to adapt to the economic and political shifts of the time. While kings and nobles were often embroiled in conflict, the church maintained a constant and steady presence. It not only controlled vast swaths of land and resources, but also possessed a sophisticated network of information and communication that spanned the entirety of Europe. This enabled it to respond swiftly to change and adjust its economic strategy as needed. Another crucial factor was the profound trust people placed in the church. During an era rife with uncertainty and upheaval, the church emerged as a bastion of reliability, promising security and stability. This unwavering faith was fundamental to the success of church-issued currencies, for without it, people would have been reluctant to accept them as a means of exchange. It was this very trust that ultimately enabled the church to wield such considerable influence over the medieval economy. Therefore, ecclesiastical coins were not merely a means of exchange, they were a symbol of the church's power and influence. They reflected the church's ability to shape the economy and medieval society, establishing a system that benefited both the faithful and the religious institution. It is this unique confluence of spiritual and economic authority that makes the subject so captivating and pertinent, even today. But how did this system impact the broader European medieval economy? What were the long-term consequences of this practice? To answer these questions, we must delve deeper into the impact of ecclesiastical coinage on medieval society and how it influenced the development of modern economies. After all, the history of these coins is not merely about the past, it's about how the power of the church helped shape the world we know today. As we delve deeper into the influence of the medieval church on the economy and society, it is impossible not to perceive how these historical threads intertwine to form a complex and fascinating tapestry. Each discovery, each revealed detail brings us closer to a more profound understanding of how religious power not only shaped the past, but also left indelible marks on the present. Reflecting on our journey thus far, it becomes clear that the church was not merely a spiritual institution, but a dynamic force that molded the economic and social structures of its time. Envision for a moment a grand mosaic whose pieces gradually interlock. Each element, be it the minting of ecclesiastical coinage, the administration of vast estates, or the unwavering trust vested in religious leaders, contributes to a more complete and astonishing picture. This mosaic is not static, it breathes, evolves, and reveals nuanced details that transcend time. As we scrutinize each fragment, we discern that the medieval church did not operate in a vacuum, but within a world where faith and fortune were inextricably intertwined. This often overlooked connection is the key to understanding the enduring impact of its actions. Amidst this contemplation, a silent, almost imperceptible yet profound question arises. How does this intricate web of power and influence still resonate in our time? The answer does not lie in a single piece of the puzzle, but in the interplay of all its facets. The medieval church not only established economic and social norms, but also forged a legacy that continues to shape our institutions and values. By contemplating the scope of this legacy, we take the initial steps towards a more comprehensive understanding of how the past informs the present. As we near the conclusion of this exploration, it is impossible not to feel a confluence of awe and intrigue. Awe at the church's ability to navigate treacherous currents and establish a system that has sustained empires and communities. Intrigue at what still lies ahead, at the questions yet unanswered and the answers waiting to be unearthed. This journey, brimming with revelations and insights, culminates in a final moment of introspection, where acquired knowledge yields a more profound and intimate understanding of our own world. It is precisely at that threshold between the familiar and the unknown that the magic of history unfolds. Every detail, every nuance, every discovery brings us closer to a more profound truth, a truth that transcends time and space. As we progress, it becomes evident that history is not merely an account of the past, but a guide for the present and a map for the future. With this perspective, we prepare for the final reflection, ready to carry these lessons with us and apply them to our own lives. As we approach the culmination of this narrative, it is paramount to recall that each discovery, each insight, each moment of contemplation has contributed to a more profound and comprehensive understanding. With this understanding, we prepare for the conclusion, ready to carry these lessons with us and apply them to our own lives. For in the end, the story is not merely about what transpired in the past. It is about how the past continues to shape our present and our future. And it is with this perspective that we approach the final reflection, ready to carry these lessons with us and apply them to our own lives. As we conclude this captivating exploration of the economic power of the medieval church, it is impossible not to reflect upon the depth and intricacy of its legacy. What began as a simple curiosity about ecclesiastical coinage has evolved into a revelatory journey illuminating how faith and fortune intertwine to shape the world we know today. This narrative transcends the confines of the past. It speaks to the enduring interconnectedness of power, economics, and spirituality, a resonance that persists within our modern society. The medieval church was more than just a religious institution. It was a cornerstone of the economy and society. Its coins, emblazoned with saints and crosses, circulated as symbols of power that transcended the realm of souls. They served as silent testimonials to an era where wealth and piety intertwined, forging a system that supported empires and communities. This economic power was not merely instrumental, it was an articulation of the church's pervasive influence over every facet of medieval life. It is this influence that compels us to re-examine the very nature of power and its diverse manifestations across historical and cultural landscapes. The history of ecclesiastical coinage serves as a potent reminder that power is not static. It adapts, evolves, and reinvents itself in accordance with needs and circumstances. The medieval church adeptly navigated turbulent waters, establishing an economic system that not only sustained its own authority, but also benefited the faithful and society as a whole. This system was founded on trust, on the belief that the church was a reliable and equitable institution, and it is this very trust that ultimately enabled the church to exert such profound influence over the medieval economy. Contemplating this narrative compels us to ponder the exercise of power in our contemporary era. In a world where the boundaries between the public and private, the secular and the spiritual are increasingly blurring, the lessons of the medieval church resonate with greater urgency than ever before. It serves as a reminder that power is not merely a matter of control, it is a matter of trust, credibility, and legitimacy. And it is through this comprehension that we can look beyond superficialities and grasp the intricate dynamics that shape our world. As we close this chapter, a profound question lingers. How can we apply these lessons to our own lives? How can we utilize the knowledge gained to navigate our own world teeming with both challenges and opportunities? The answer, I believe, lies in recognizing the interconnectivity of all things. Economic power, spiritual power, and social power are not isolated entities. They are deeply interwoven, forming a complex and dynamic tapestry that shapes our reality. This understanding invites us to adopt a more holistic perspective, to look beyond traditional boundaries, and to recognize the interdependence of all things. It is a perspective that allows us to see the world in a new, richer, and more profound way. And it is this perspective that empowers us to act with wisdom and discernment, to make informed decisions, and to create a more just and equitable future. Thus, upon reflecting on the power of the medieval church and its enduring impact, we are led to a profound and significant conclusion. True power does not reside in coins or symbols of material wealth. It lies in the capacity to inspire, to unite, and to transform. It is a power that transcends immediate circumstances, a power that transcends time and space. And it is this power that invites us to continue our own journey of discovery, to seek knowledge, and to apply our lessons to our own lives. Therefore, let this tale serve as a perpetual reminder that power, in all its manifestations, is a tool for the common good. May it inspire us to pursue not only material wealth, but also spiritual and social richness. May it encourage us to contemplate the impact of our actions and to act with compassion, wisdom, and justice. For ultimately, it is these qualities that truly matter. And thus, with this concluding reflection, we bring to a close this captivating journey. But the true practice begins now, as we carry these lessons within us and apply them to our own lives, shaping a future that honors the past and embraces the present.